This is the Realty Classroom Podcast, episode number 137. How do you know when a new strategy actually works in your business? Are you a real estate agent with an entrepreneurial spirit who wants to turn your job into a business without sacrificing your lifestyle, but you just can't seem to find the right plan or any plan to help you get there? Well, then, hey, you are definitely in the right place. I'm Danny Griffin, the founder of the Realty Classroom and the host of this podcast. Now, to help you take immediate action to get started in a more strategic direction, I have created a free plan that's waiting for you over at freeagentgift.com. That's freeagentgift.com. Hustle over there, get a copy of it, download. It's all digital, so you can download a digital PDF that gives you a framework, the exact one that I use in my own business and the exact one that I use to teach my highest level mastermind elite members. It's what we work from. You can have it right now for free, freeagentgift.com, and then there's a little walkthrough of the plan beyond that. All right, let's get started. In this episode, I want to cover, how do you know when a new strategy actually works in your business? And again, like I said, every time I do one of these podcasts, I'm coming off of a coaching moment where I'm going through in depth with one of my mastermind members about their patience for process, and my own for that matter. It's been years that I've been in the business, 21. And over that time, what I've learned is more about process than anything else. And process brings you a certain requirement for patience. So let me just start off by mentioning that. But the first point here, you have to recognize that when you're starting new strategies, and in this case, Tony was trying to build, or is trying to build, a funnel where he can go to Facebook, for example, and drive traffic to a video. And in that video, he can explain a unique strategy to a seller that he uses to get them interested to learn more, and that they'll actually themselves book a phone appointment. And it's worked a couple of times. So that's the premise, or that's the story that leads to this discussion here. But I think these points are really important for all of you, no matter what you're trying. If you're trying open houses and you're a new agent for the first time, there are a lot of things that you need to understand about the process. So here we go. First point, everything is a risk when you first start. So commit to the initial investment of time and money. So let me go back to what I was saying to Tony. Tony decided that he wanted to do business with people that he didn't know, which is a huge premise for me at the TRC. When we're always teaching you, you have to learn how to do business with people that you don't know. That's what helps you have control over your future and predictability. I mean, it's great to get referred and repeat business, but I'd be scared if I were relying on that alone. I never would do that. I like that, and I work hard to get that to happen, but I'm also always looking for people that I don't know. So we have this big, vast internet in front of us, and we're all out there trying to come up with new technique and tactic to get sellers especially to engage us there and maybe do business with us. So if you decide that you're going to build a funnel, it's a big terminology or a big term that's come up over the last 10 years or so, and you just see everybody teaching funnel, funnel, funnel. Okay, well, what does that even mean? Well, it means that you would go into a pool of somebody's. Let's presume that you're just running some traffic out to the 15-mile radius that Facebook lets you go after, right? They've overcorrected at Facebook these days. They won't let you go into very specific or discriminating categories, so they'll let you do a circle around your office, say, for 15 miles. So suffice to say, Tony would go out there and he would say, hey, all you that are thinking about selling in this 15-mile radius, I've got a video for you. You ought to watch it. Again, I'm patronizing the conversation to simplify it. You get the point. So those people would then thereby click on that, and he would give it away. There's no gateway. There's no opt-in, because these days there's more pressure to give away your best stuff for free. So Tony would go off and he would talk about that, and then presumably he would have to buy enough traffic so that enough people watch it, so that enough people do what? They click through to the offer that would allow them to book a one-on-one phone call with him to get a free consultation. That's the premise. Pretty simple, right? So the question is, well, how much money should I be spending? And he had some guidance from people that have built funnels and what they've learned in other businesses, not necessarily this one. Real estate becomes tricky because you're not selling a digital product online. You're not mailing out something physical that is a one-time purchase. You're actually trying to get inside of somebody's house to show them how you would help them sell it for top dollar and convince them that you're the best choice. So there's a longer accordion-like stretch of the process. And we actually have to give a lot more away for free in the beginning in our business than most people do. right? I mean, some free pictures and some insight about some shoes and, like think about Zappos, great company. I'm a big fan. They might have a shoe display up there where you go and look at some pictures of that shoe from all different angles. And maybe there's a YouTube video of a model walking around in those shoes and you can see what they look like in quote unquote real life on video. So every business is different. And yes, ours is a little bit more difficult when you consider that the sales cycle, getting somebody convinced to talk to you even, is different. So we're going to, based on the reality of our business, understand that could take us more time. So if I learn what a shoe company does and I like some of those things and then I go make an effort to repeat what I see them doing to me online, I can't presume the same investment of time. See what I mean? So I have to be realistic about how long it might take me to get a similar result of just engagement. People that are just interested in the video. And there's all sorts of techniques and tactics you can use to see, is anybody actually clicking on the video? Is anybody watching through it? I mean, companies like Wistia, which I use as a video host, they can tell you how long somebody's looked at it. I think he was using something called Video or Vidlytics, and that was telling you how long somebody was looking at it and also allowed you to pop up offers at certain times. So technique and tactic, it's amazing how much technology there is out there to see what's happening while you're making this investment of time and money. So, but the key point I told him is you have to be patient and you have to first think about recouping that initial investment. That was point number 2. So I said to him, Tony, look, you've got to look for milestones that you intuit, right? Your intuition that you intuit are leading towards recouping your initial investment. This is a slippery slope to talk about because I have heard a lot of top producers make this massive mistake year after year after year. And I'm not talking the first year. Okay. Let's say, for example, these top producers that come to me, they say, well, I have so-and-so of a lead capture site and it cost me X. So if I can just get X back, then I'll just keep doing it and doing it. Sure. That's really good in the beginning. Because you don't know what you don't know. You might see Jim and Sarah, and they're out there and they're using this platform, and your perception is that they're using it well. And why wouldn't you make it, take the risk of investing in that? And now the platform salesman says to you, well, you just have to get the 12,000, the 13, the 15, the 20,000 back, and you could get that in 1 sale, 2 sales, 3 sales. And it all sounds extremely reasonable when you first hear it, right? Sounds extremely reasonable when you first hear it. And your justification, your simplification is okay, that sounds reasonable. Now you go out there and most of the time you're completely underprepared. You don't know what you don't know. You don't know that you really need a conversion process. You just sort of go at it and hope something is going to jump into the boat and fry itself up for you, meaning you're going to get a sale. Maybe, maybe not. But let's just say that you are very serious about working this platform very hard. Let's just say it's a new rookie agent at the Griffin Realty Group, my brokerage. We're going to tell you, get in an open house, borrow one of the listings from the company or another agent of the company, get in an open house and commit to the investment of time. I know time is money, but commit to that. I'll be all right. I'm getting excited here. Commit to that investment of your time to be in there and looking for a strategy and a systematic approach where you are very focused on trying to get the recoup of the money return on that time. In other words, the sooner you can convert a buyer or a seller to a client off of an open house, well, the better the process was, right? So the focus is, if I'm going to make that first investment of time and money, I want to get that money back as fast as possible. So the more I understand about the reality of this investment, what is the reality? I do my homework. I really think about what are the pros and cons of this platform? What are the pros and cons of running an open house? Do I have a strategy to make both of these work, or am I hoping that they both work? That's a key problem here. A lot of people see these good strategies and ideas that they see in the business, and they just somehow miraculously, hope it's going to work? They don't dig in and ask how. How does this work for the people that do it now? Is there a best practices that is working right now in the field? People don't dig in enough, people being real estate agents, okay? So you're looking for these milestones quickly. Aha. I did the open house and I captured a bunch of names because I told people they had to sign in. In exchange for the sign in, I gave them a really nice feature sheet of the property. And then as they walked around and I realized they weren't working with an agent because they wrote down no agent, I made another offer. I gave them more pictures and details of properties to make their life easier. Then I gave them a copy of my buyer plan. See, that's what I'm talking about. If I have a better strategy for that idea that is prolific in the business like an open house, now I have a higher probability that I can quickly get a buyer off of that open house or quickly get a seller and recoup the return on my time. Now, if it's money and you printed out the brochures and all of that, the gas to get there, sure, you're recouping money too. But let's go to for the top producers who tend to always want to just spend enormous amounts of money on some sort of a funnel lead gen platform without really thinking through this. It's the same thing. How long will it take me to set this funnel up, get this thing going, buy the leads, whatever it is? How long will it take me? And then what is the conversion process and the milestones that I should be looking for? And do I need help? Is it going to be all me or do I need an assistant? Do I need a telemarketer? What do I need? So the more you understand what risk you're taking of investment of time and money, then it's easier to understand what's reasonable for recouping the recoup time. What's reasonable? And if it's going too long, pull the fire alarm. What's wrong? What didn't I do that these other successful people were doing, right? So that's the key point. The next point, okay, number 3 here, is if you can find your way to look for one complete transaction, then you have proof of concept. So let me go back to Tony's analogy because it's just easy to tell you in a story form. So I said, Tony, look, the key is before you're asking how much money should you spend to acquire a customer, how much would you, that's a good question at some point. But in the beginning, we're always spending more up front to get something going. We always want this like instant gratification where things are running along and now we're like scientists where we know that if we spend X, we make Y. That's fine. That comes with time and it is important. But when you start something brand new in the beginning, you're making that investment of money and it's almost like this one microcosm of time. Let's take for round months numbers. Let's take 12 months. Let's just say that I buy a new lead gen platform for buyers and sellers. I wish you would go more for the sellers, all of you, but I'll bite. Okay. You buy this platform. You know it's going to cost you X. You know the lead gen expenditure is going to cost you Y. There's the hard cost. Then you know it's going to be you or the cost of a telemarketer following up, trying to find out where the conversations are amongst all these inquiries, right? You got to look at that realistically saying, geez, if I meet somebody in the internet, it's going to take me a while to get them to know me, like me, trust me, all those good things, right? So how do I do that? Well, I start giving them more than is expected beyond the platform. I'm giving them my insight, my service. All right, so maybe I'm shrinking the time frame down. And am I seeing somebody come through? Yep, here's a fistful of people that are now real prospects. They're appreciative. They're telling me about their timing. I'm getting a realistic feeling and voila. Bang, all of a sudden one becomes a client and under agreement, we close. And this is where I really wanted to make this differentiation, especially if there are any top producers listening today. I want to make that differentiation that's the moment where most of you collapse. Because what you do is you run right back and you try to scrape some more cream, and you don't learn from that one transaction. You don't really analyze it and say, why did that one come through this whole proof of concept? Why did I prove it with this one? Or really, how did I prove it with this one person? What really just happened? Versus like going transactional, I need another one. No, this is a proof of concept, okay? So in other words, we just built a prototype. A prototype past client now exists. I manufactured this relationship through this new technique and strategy that I took a shot at and risked, right? What did I learn from that proof of concept success? And if I go back on the assembly line, is there more proof coming? Are there more clients being developed? What does it look like along that assembly line? Is it continuing? Because that's what you're looking for with these new ideas. Is it something that I can rely on? Does it become predictable? That when I do some of the similar things I did with this one successful deal as a proof of concept, am I repeating those things? Instead of all of a sudden saying, okay, I got one, and how much should I spend? And we can't wait to go back and just spend a lot more money versus understanding the whole process. Spending money, by the way, for lead gen or spending your time in something that doesn't cost money like an open house. I like those. See, I'm giving you examples of spending, not spending, just investing blood, sweat, and tears. I like them both. Eventually, I like to see a combination of both. But the idea is, if I get an open house formula that works, if I get an expenditure formula that works, I don't want to just start and stop one. Well, I do so much better with this. I can't believe how many people like at the top producer level say, oh, I don't like those. Right? The business works a particular way. And that way is off of listings. And the listings beget the buyers. That's never going to change. So we need to look at a variety of strategies, not too many that drown us, but a variety of strategies that we can make work and make predictable. And that's the final point here, is that once I had that proof of concept, and I said to Tony, stop looking at the other metrics until you go back and say, have I recouped the initial investment if this guy becomes a client? And the answer for Tony was, yes, one guy that he's already gotten to have a phone appointment is going to list his property, and it's going to lead to about $12,000 worth of expenditure. And so Tony can put a big dent in recouping the majority, not all, but the majority of his investment with that first one. And then I said, okay, what about the second call? Yeah, she was out of the air. It wasn't as good. Okay, we got 2 people to book it. Don't stop what you were doing to get that 1 and 2, those 2, and 50% look like it's a good deal. Got to bring it all the way to a conclusion. He's got to do his follow-up. He's got to turn it to a client. He's got to monetize it. And then we have that full one transaction. And I think that's exciting. I know it sounds crazy to you all, but I know what I know. I've been doing this a long time. When you figure out how to do one thing, then there's something like, can this be repeated? And can it become predictable? Because if you just focus on all the way back to what he was doing, and he sees what he did right with this one person, he should obsess over that until he recoups the initial investment. But while he's recouping the initial investment with 1, 2, or 3 deals, he's learning that this can become consistent and predictable because he's looking for those milestones like he did on the first one. Did I get anybody to book an appointment? Did I get anybody on the phone? Was that person my avatar? He's looking for that over and over and over. Yes, he's up here, level 1. You want to win the game? Level 1, recoup. Level 2, consistent replication of that process. Okay? Let me go back. This is a little bit tricky. I get it. So let me slow it down in my summary here. With anything that you try in your business, the question on the table is, how do you know when a new strategy actually works in your business? I'm going to give you the caveat before I give you the points. Too many of you start and stop. So many smart people come into this business, and I know because I'm in a heavy recruiting mode for my brokerage, and there are some super smart people that are going to be first-time licensees. And we tell them, please don't bother coming into a conversation that's deep with us unless you understand we follow and teach from a plan. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme, but we have some things that will require your work. Can you see yourself working this for 18 to 24 months? What did I just say? New strategies. I'm asking all of you to understand you got to have at least a minimum of 12 months, but you think you're going to jump into this business and all of a sudden you're going to have a predictable, consistent book of business without working it for a while? Not going to happen. Unless you come into it with, a builder or something and they have a building. That's different. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about building one of these businesses from scratch. So the points are, first, remember that everything is a risk when you first start it, okay? Especially this business, but inside the business, everything is a risk when you first start. So you have to commit to that initial investment of time and money. That's for everything in this business. I can talk about lead gen or I can talk about your commitment to the business. Second point, Along that initial investment of time, look for milestones that you intuit, your gut tells you that this is leading towards me recouping the cost of my license, the cost of joining the brokerage, my business cards, my signs. That's for you brand new agents. And then for all you top producers that are looking for a new way or a digital way or a telemarketing way, is it really like, are you seeing that there's progress here? Are you sending out marketing materials? Are you signing people up to get property updates? What are you doing? Those are milestones, right? That are leading towards you getting a sale that will help you recoup your initial investment. Third point was you just want to win that first one closed deal, that one past client off that new strategy, so that you really know that this is a proof of concept. That's proof. Even one, it's proof, and you should be excited, but you got to go back and study it. Then, as it's happening over and over, continue to spend at that level. Don't stop. Don't say, oh, everything's going great now, I'm going to stop. Why? What? You don't do that. You're trying to grow a business. You're hoping that you have the ability to spend even more over time because you're growing even more sales. That's the hope. Right? Expenditure shouldn't outpace the sales, obviously, but as we grow, we're reinvesting more in what got us there. We're not going back the other way. I can't believe how many knucklehead top producers. Well, I'm going to give this 12 months and I'm going to stop it. Oh, man. Blech. Right? Every time I hear that. And I love you, top producers, because I'm one of you, but stop doing that. It's just not the way business works. Good businesses grow themselves up. That means their expenses grow up too, because they're spending more to get more of the pie or create a bigger market from that. You don't spend less. You're just trying to incrementally improve margin, right? So you're making more per sale, but you're not going downwards with your sales unless you're just getting these incredibly unbelievable economies of scale, they're called in economics, right? You're getting an economy of scale. The more you scale, you're just making bigger margin. But typically, you'll see those expenses grow with what's coming in, okay? I don't want to go too far there. So you want to just keep doing that for anything that is consistent and predictable. You new agents, if you're not in an open house almost every weekend that you can be, I'm scratching my head. Why not? Because that's the fastest path to meeting people that you don't know that are interested in talking about real estate. Okay. Number one. Yes, I know your sphere of influence, but not everybody in the sphere of influence today has context for interest in real estate. But somebody walking through the door of a house, high probability. All right. Let me summarize it this way. When most agents are trying new strategies, they typically start off by copying someone else they perceive to be successful without ever considering whether or not the strategy is fundamental to building a real estate business. That's why I mentioned sellers, right? That's fundamental. Furthermore, most quit on that strategy without understanding how to even measure its success or failure. Like I said, nobody takes a beat to study. How's this really work? The key when implementing new tactics is to look for milestones that will help you recoup your investment and indicate the possibility for long-term, consistent, and predictable returns on investment. All right, now remember, you can take immediate action and get started in the right direction with a copy of our free plan. It's waiting for you over at freeagentgift.com, freeagentgift.com. And like I said, over there's a printable infographic that just lays out how the business really works from a visionary standpoint, a management standpoint, and a technical or the work of the assembly line standpoint, gleaned from Michael Gerber's great work on the E-Myth. It's a simple model for you to understand. Then a whole digital course on the major tenets of that business that you can learn a little bit more about, all right? Also, don't forget, you can subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you listen. We also broadcast our live sales training calls on Facebook and YouTube every Friday at 1 o'clock. EDT, that's Eastern Daylight Time. So remember, turn on your page, channel notifications, your bells, your whistles, whatever it takes for the Realty Classroom, and you won't miss the reminders. We'd also appreciate it if you would comment on our post so that we know what you're thinking and how we can further help you. By the way, going to take a little new step here. Be looking for a little mini launch of a new Q&A program. Okay, I'm working on that right now. A very, very affordable, extremely affordable. About the same, I'm holding one right here. Cup of coffee from Starbucks and maybe one of their sandwiches and a little bit of a Danish on the side for about the cost of that a month. I'm going to make me and my team available for Q&A. So be on the lookout for that offer coming soon. Okay. Also, remember, thanks for listening. But nobody is coming for you. So go get to work on your own plan. And I will see you in the next episode to help you do just that. Thanks again.